up, mate. Got cake, mate. Got cheese, mate. Got bread, mate.
All right, it's time for our third March Madness video, and that's us previewing the South region. Again, don't have official picks here, but I'm going to give you as much information as I can. Some plays on some numbers, it just depends on the game. But go ahead and check out the other videos. I'll have them posted here, or check out the bottom of the video to see the different games highlighted, little time codes. All right, let's get into the first game, and that's with the number 1 seed Houston Cougars against the number 16 seed Longwood. This game's going to be on Friday at 8:20 p.m. And we know Houston's has one of the best defensives in the country, one of the best teams in the country. They've had a little bit of injury issues as of late, but I still think they'll be able to roll against Longwood. Longwood's a team that finished fifth in their own conference. So I think Houston should be able to take care of business here. Spreads about 24.5. That's, that's about in the wheelhouse. We'll go ahead and take Houston here. The line might move, but around a good spot for Houston Cougars. Like I said, we go over every game, give a handicap for every game, and we also post that on our website, so check out both. Thanks for watching the video. Next game, the 8th seed Nebraska Cornhuskers are favored by 1 point against Texas A&M. This game is going to be Friday at 5:55. So A&M, they struggled last year, and I thought A&M had a better team last season, and they struggled last year against Penn State, and Penn State won rather easily. So now you have a similar Nebraska team, except Nebraska's got an underrated defense. They could shoot it on offense, and they could score at different ways on offense, but their defense is what's underrated. So A&M's the best rebounding team in the country, and their problem is they're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country as well. So that's kind of a problem for A&M. But the thing is with Nebraska, they could score from inside, outside. Will A&M get more scoring other than Wade Taylor? Wade Taylor, their senior guard. There's also Boots Radford. But Boots Radford has been, I'd say, up and down, pretty cold all season until the SEC tournament, where he came on late and came on very strong. The thing is with A&M in the SEC tournament, they were shooting over 50%, making double-digit three-pointers, and that's just something that's not going to last, and it didn't, and it's not going to last in the NCAA tournament. In my opinion, they're not the 335th worst three-pointing shooting team in the country for no reason. That hot streak in the SEC tournament, I don't think that's going to carry over. Nebraska's got the flamethrower from Japan, Mr. Tommy Naga, and they can go inside, they can go outside. They're tough defense. I like Nebraska here. A&M, I just don't think they're going to have enough offense. Nebraska's going to do what they can to shut down Wade Taylor. Fred Hoiberg, great coach. Nebraska's in the tournament. I expect a great defensive performance from the Cornhuskers. And our next game, which is going to be a good one, number 5 Wisconsin laying 5.5 points against number 12 seeded James Madison Dukes. This game's going to be a Friday at 8:40 p.m. And we know James Madison's going to be a trendy dog, but it's for good reason. They're better in they are better in every category by a wide margin over Wisconsin, and I think they're going to give them a tough matchup. We know they beat Michigan State earlier in the year, but James Madison is as good as advertised, and what people will be saying about them this week, they are that good of a team. Wisconsin, they're a terrible rebounding team, and I think this is what's going to kill them. They've been a terrible rebounding team almost, in every big game that they've had. And I think that's where James Madison's going to capitalize and take advantage of the Badgers, is getting these extra rebounds, getting the boards, controlling the glass, and getting those extra possessions. I think James Madison should have been favored here. The fact that it's still 5.5, is kind of surprising, and maybe just a little Big Ten bias here. But I think James Madison is the team that should be favored by a couple points, and they should be able to get this win. I like them taking the points. We'll also dip on the money line as well, and I like the Dukes in this matchup. It's just a good matchup for James Madison. Our next game, the number 4 seed Duke Blue Devils laying 12 points against Vermont. This game's at Friday at 6 o'clock. Vermont's getting Some buyback here. So this line could keep on moving towards the Vermont Catamounts. Duke, we know Duke. They've had some issues. A lot of Duke hate recently for good reason. They didn't do anything in the ACC tournament. You have Filipowski and all the Duke elitists going crazy past couple weeks due to the court storming, seeding, saying that other conferences are padding their records, net records, whatever. Um, but the thing is, this Vermont team plays some tough defense, but they don't really do anything else well. So I think that this is more of an angle and hatred from with Duke people that hate Duke, which I get it, but Vermont really doesn't do anything else well. They don't really shoot the three well. And Duke, if they come to play, they should be able to take care of business rather easily against Vermont. I like Duke here. It's just a bad matchup for Vermont. I don't really see it with them. I think if Duke comes focused, this is a game that they can win. They'll probably lose next round, James Madison, but I think Vermont is they just don't have enough firepower here. So I'm going to let this line dip a little bit closer to the Blue Devil or a little bit closer to Vermont, get a cheap number with Duke, and then back to Blue Devils here. Could they have a bad game? Yeah, you never know. I mean, it's March Madness. You just never know. Just looking at the metrics and all of my numbers, Vermont is just not a good matchup for the Catamounts. Next game, the number 6 Texas Tech Red Raiders favored by 5.5 points against 11 seed North Carolina State. So this game's gonna be on Thursday at 8:45 p.m. And two interesting little aspects here for each team. So with Texas Tech, we don't know how injured and how healthy they really are. Washington's been injured. Is he gonna play? We just really don't know with Texas Tech and their situation here regarding injuries. And North Carolina State, we know that they're red hot. The Wolfpack is red hot right now. DJ Burns inside. They go inside, outside. And will they have a little bit of a hangover from the ACC tournament? I don't know. But getting 5.5 points, that's kind of appetizing and that's appealing to me because both teams are pretty bad at rebounding, but North Carolina State may have the size advantage. They have Middlebrooks and like I said, DJ Burns, two good, pretty big, large post presence that could give them the edge over Texas Tech. So I like the rebounding potential here for North Carolina State. Um, the thing is with Texas Tech, are they going to shoot the three well? Are they going to make their threes? Is NC State going to get them off the 3 point line? Um, the thing with the Wolfpack is they don't turn the ball over. Texas Tech, their main issue all season's been one, are we going to make our 3 pointers? If their 3 pointers aren't going in, they usually struggle. That usually means Pops Isaacs is having a bad night from the field and from deep. So that's something that NC State has got to do is keep them off the 3 point line, force Pop Isaacs to pass the ball and grab the rebounds. If North Carolina State can grab the rebounds, win the rebounding battle, they'll win this game. But 5.5 points, I think it's a little too many for me, especially with Texas Tech injury issues. We don't really know who's going to play, who's going to be healthy. So you may want to, this is a Thursday game, so you may want to wait a little bit. But if you like North Carolina State, I think it's not going to get any better than grabbing those 5.5 points. So for me, I like 5.5 with North Carolina State. There's some potential there for them to stay hot, and with the Wolfpack, if they can rebound, keep them off the 3 point line, I think they can win this game. Not only cover but win. This should be a really good game. The next matchup is number 3 Kentucky laying 13.5 points against number 14 seed Oakland. This is on Thursday at 6 o'clock. And we know Kentucky, they have probably the most NBA players on their roster in the country, but same old story. Can they put it all together? They have been able to offensively. Calipari's rotations have been a little wonky, little weird. Reed Shepard comes off the bench, and he's got to satisfy so many. I don't know about egos. 'Cause I don't really know the kids, but you got to make everybody happy. So these top recruits keep coming to Kentucky. So his rotations are kind of weird. Is he gonna fix them, tighten them up? Um, in the NCAA tournament, there's no telling, which I don't really mind Dillingham and Reed Shepard coming off the bench because they usually, they come off the bench, but they end up playing like starters minutes throughout the game. So it's really not that big of a deal. It's only a big deal if Kentucky starts out slow, then it kind of, it becomes an issue, kind of like an A&M game. So that's where the problems are. Oakland Oakland might be able to run with Kentucky, but it's going to come down to if they can play defense. Anybody can just run up and down Kentucky. You got to get the stops to keep up with them. And 13 and a half, Oakland's starting to get some buyback, but I just think this is one of those games where people are fading Kentucky, because they don't play any defense and they don't play enough defense. They can play defense, Reed Shepard, but they get very trigger happy, very run up and down, track meet style. So I could see where, people could, get turned off by that. But I mean, there's just so much potential with that offense. And with Oakland, I don't know how good their defense is going to be. They're kind of 50-50 against good competition. The best competition they really played against, they kind of got blown out by. And that's of course early in the season, non-conference. I still want to see where this line's going to move and where it ends up finishing. I could see it being 13, 12 and a half points. I would lay it with Kentucky just because the offense has so much potential to win by like 30 points, but they also could, lose or just win by like 7 points. Um, there's no telling. And Oakland, we don't know. I don't know how good their offense is going to be. And again, Calipari's rotations, we don't know. So it kind of makes it difficult. But just the potential of this offense, it's hard for me to go against Kentucky. So I'm gonna wait for this line to kind of like mellow out, and then I'll go from there. Our next game is Florida awaiting the winner of the play-in game between Colorado and Boise State, and that game's going to be on Friday night or Wednesday night, excuse me, not tonight, but Wednesday night. And in that matchup, it's kind of an even matchup between Colorado and Boise State, but Colorado, I think they have a better offense, they have better rebounding and a better defense. So I think I'm a side with Colorado there, laying I think 2.5 points. Boise State just, they were pretty good all season, but towards the end of the year, they kind of slipped, and they just weren't as good. They can get a little stagnant offensively, and Colorado, they have a lot of different options on offense, so that helps them. Boise State really just has Dagenhart inside outside, and then you have Rice who could get his own shot, shoots the three well. They have a freshman. He didn't get much playing time in the Mountain West tournament against New Mexico, and I don't know, Colorado. Colorado's kind of hot. They got beat by Oregon, but still, Colorado's look okay. At the current number, I like Colorado. Boise State. We'll see what happens with the number, but right now, I'm aiming towards Colorado. Florida got a terrible injury in the SEC championship against Auburn. One of their best players pretty much like snapped his ankle. That's what it looked like. There's blood, so it had to be something really bad. So he's not going to be playing. I think they'll still be okay, but that's a huge loss for Florida. And I'm not as high on them as I was prior to that injury. That just gives them so much extra length and defense, rebounding. He was a great passer as well. So um, I don't know if Florida gets matched up with Boise State or Colorado. It will be interesting, but I'm definitely. It all depends on the number, but I would probably lean Florida in depending on whichever matchup. I'd still like Florida, but again, it just depends on the number, and we'll go over that when the time comes. And lastly, number two Marquette laying 14 points against 15th seeded Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. This game's on Friday at 1 o'clock. Um, Big issue here with Marquette. How healthy are they? They're already missing, I think, Cam Jones, a good scorer for them. Kolek's been injured. He's been out the last two games of the regular season. He missed the Big East tournament. Marquette made it all the way to the championship game. Got blown out by UConn. Not a surprise there. I don't rate Kolek very high, but he always has that potential to have really good games, gets good assists, but I'm really not that impressed with them. Western Kentucky, their problem is how are they going to score? What kind of offense are they going to be able to produce? They have a really good defense, really great rebounding, but how are they going to be able to keep up offensively with Marquette? Marquette, with or without Tyler Kolek, they should be able to score some points. I'd if Kolek's out, I would probably take the points of Western Kentucky, but if Kolek's in, that gives them a little edge. And I want to see where this line ends up. Right now, Western Kentucky's taking money. I think they're juiced with Marquette. Still favored by 14 points, but I still want to see where that line goes. Again, this game's on Friday, so that gives us some time. Like I said, the official cards will be out Wednesday night, Thursday night for Thursday, Friday games. Should give people plenty of time to look at everything. And like I said, with these videos, it kind of gives you a really good idea of where I'm at and what I'm thinking before those games come out and the official article. So it gives you an idea of what numbers I like and where I'm standing on with both teams. So that way you have that information going into Thursday and Friday just in case you miss the article. But like I said, the best way to keep up is checking out the website. It's going to be there for the next 4 days, of course, and for the whole tournament. But the playing games Tuesday, Wednesday is what I mean, and then of course for Thursday and Friday games. So yeah, I appreciate that. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on our social media pages, and again, check out the website. This is our South region, and we'll see how it goes. Like I said, there's some dogs that could make some runs here. NC State, James Madison, Nebraska. And we'll see what happens with Florida, Colorado, and Boise State. A really interesting region. Houston, the number 1 seed, but it looks like it has a weak region, but I mean, anything can happen, especially with the injuries that Houston's kind of gotten late in the season with Tugler. And haven't heard anything on Roberts, but he tweaked his knee. I'm sure he'll play. He's a senior, so we'll see how it goes. But again, I appreciate it. Subscribe to the videos. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Follow us on our social media pages, and we'll see you for the next one. All right, later.